Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today we're going over Memphis-based singer slash rapper called Healy and his second album called Tungsten. So this person is somebody that I literally came across I can't say this year anymore. Excuse me. In 2020, listened to the song Nike's On. I really like the sound. I like the atmosphere of the production and everything. I really loved it. So I decided to kind of like lean into whatever's gonna come next. And I already feel that there was a new album happening, and I thought about it and kind of put it to the side for now. And then when it was time to look at the album when it finally came out, which was very recent, I definitely wanted to listen to it immediately, but I also want to do a review on it. And knowing that I didn't listen to Sublux, which came out in 2017, his first album, but I did get a chance while I was doing editing and everything to listen to that album. So now I can actually review this album with the idea of knowing what he was like in the first album. If you don't really know anything about the first album or anything, he pretty much is a huge hard worker from what I looked up with the information on him, and to the fact that he released Sublux at the same time that he was going to med school, which by the way he graduated and everything. So congratulations to you. So yeah, but it's so interesting to see somebody that's like hard in the daytime, hard work at school, but at night is working on his music career, and it's kind of cool. Wish I had that type of balance or that type of determination and everything. I really think it's really cool. A couple of background stuff. So tungsten is pretty much a rare metal and one of the strongest natural metals as well. But it's very weak when it comes to impact. So if you throw it down the ground or if it was to run into something else, it would completely just dust. So my idea about what this album could be about from just going through it was the idea is that he is balancing between the space between being vulnerable while also showing off of his resilience and his strength as well, kind of showing off both of them and realizing that they both come hand in hand with each other. That's my thought of what this album could be about. Just going off of what's going on. So let me talk about my favorite songs. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Tungsten, the first song called Tungsten, which sounds like he's taking a shower or maybe washing his face. There's water running in the beginning, and then he says, "Sometimes I feel like I'm wavering from the path, but then sometimes I feel like I am the path." So I try to break that down and still thinking that over as I speak, but it makes me think that he thinks that he'll look at his surroundings like, oh my god, I'm not where I want to be, or not, I don't feel like I'm heading a right direction, but then he realizes oh, whatever direction I head is my direction, this is my path, whether I go this way or that way, it is my choices is the path, so it doesn't matter if you're going down a bad direction, or you're going down a great direction, or either way, you're still on a path to something about yourself. And I really like that kind of that thought. Going into a song I really like was Everything's Fine, which this one kind of talks about him saying he's like, guess I'm all right. I haven't lashed out in such a long time. Closing my eyes help hold my pride. So it seems like in this album, he's very introspective about himself, and there has definitely been a lengthy of time where he wasn't completely introspective at all, and so it seems like he's throughout the whole album feels like he's working on himself more as it goes on, and it definitely breaks down all those walls that he had before, and then really looking inside himself, like, why do I do this? Why do I do that? Kind of thing. I really love that. Going into Nike's On, which is the fourth song and the first single. Really like it. It's pretty much talking about time and why does it move so fast. What was the thing I really want to talk about? And how like it's one thing he says is like every day is the same when the name of the game's break sweat to break even. And then last time I checked, when my friends didn't, who my friend is don't depend on a stimulant. So it seems like he's trying to balance between. He's very upset that time is going so fast. He doesn't really like that. He feels like everything's just going, and that including which dominoes into him working hard to get where he needs to go, to just get anything on like level stability. And I think that he also talks about how he doesn't want to have this idea of fake friends, pretty much. He doesn't want fake friends. He wants friends that like him for him and not because of how much money he's making or his success, you know? Another one I really liked is Cannonball featuring Jcksn Avenue. Oh my god. Who in the world is Jcksn Avenue and why I never came across her in my life? Her voice. Like, it's amazing. It's so smooth like honey, and it's still, but it has a lot of passion, a lot of emotion with it. It's just so nice. I was very surprised when I knew it said featuring Jcksn Avenue, and I was like, okay, whatever. But when she came in, I was like, whoa, you completely added so much more dimension to the song. Not that the song was bad as it is. The song is really good. The song is great. But I feel like it's just like, the idea of having her feature in this song was one of the best ideas of this album. This one's I think it's talking about the past love, about how he wants to go back and like live that love and feel to go back to where they were in the beginning, but he does realizes that it's just not where it's gonna be, with everything changing and everything going the way it is, that you can never go back to where a love was in the beginning, you know? Things are always evolving, and so is love. And so is people, actually. One thing he says is painting pictures I never lived, well, Jcksn said this, painting pictures I never will live in makes me want to cannonball. Pretty much wants to just blow it all away. It's very stressful knowing that she can't go back, knowing that she's doing these things, that she's seeing these images of what it could have been, and the relationship is not, really bugs her. And one thing that really stuck out to me was, we're face to face, but there's acres of space. Saying just pretty much we are close to each other, we're near each other, we know each other, but at the same time we don't. We're so spaced away. Even no matter how close we are, there's still a coldness between us. Going into Back on the Fence featuring Becky and the Birds, once again another great feature. This is a very interesting song. This is I feel like this has to be one of my favorite songs of the album. It might be my favorite song on the album, because it talks about something that I can really relate to, is the idea of battling between the idea that you want to be better, you want to be a better person, so you fight, to be a better person, you have to fight against your old habits, and it's a very difficult task to do so. And it's so easy to slip right back into old habits, because it's so easy to go in that direction. It's so easy. And what he's talking about is just the idea of regression too. Especially when you're stressed, when you're mostly stressed, it's the easiest route is to just go right back to who you were, where you were before you start to better yourself. As regression definition says, like slipping into a early stage of development when faced with stress. So somebody might suck their thumbs when they're really stressed, or curl into a ball kind of thing, you know, like just things that you don't do anymore, but you did as a kid, or you did, like, it's completely a thing. And I think it's very interesting that he talked about it. I love the harmonies, the very intense harmonies coming from Becky and the Birds, to the point that I think there was some whistle tone throughout the whole time. It was amazing. Yeah, but I really like this. So he's pretty much talking about how he's on the fence of going back to the person that he was before, but his friends are telling him, like, don't do it. Like, there's so much more to go for than just going back. Now, going into the next song, which is I really like, which is Back in Time, kind of talks about that type of time. I think this whole album's about time, honestly. And accepting that you can't go backwards, because that's exactly what this song is about. Featuring Public Library Commute. Love the title of the band or group or person. This one talks about going back in time and reliving moments and reliving the good times and everything. And I think that almost reminds me of wanting to go back purposely to redo things better or just relive it again. One thing that really stuck out at the very, very end of the song was a friend was telling him is that the thing about the way we perceive time is that there's no going back through doors that are closed. Pretty much saying those doors are closed. There's no way we can go back. It's impossible to go back. The doors are closed, so we have to accept that those doors are closed so we can move forward, kind of thing. Because we can't look back and be so like, oh, I wish something changed. It didn't change. It's how it is. We gotta move forward, kind of thing. And I love that direction. It's nice little lighter, nicer way of saying it. I really like that. I love that there's a weird switch up before that quote happens. And it kind of reminds me of like a switch up meets Chopped and Screwed, kind of southern kind of hip hop where they used to for like the longest time during the 2000s, where just like they slowed it down, they chopped it up a little with some of the lyrics and everything. It's really, really nice. Those are it for my favorite songs, but I do want to make some shout outs to a couple ones. Mirage is another one that's really interesting. Which is surprising that I would think that with this introspective album, usually they kind of have a ending where it's like, I'm better, or I'm still going through it, or it's like a season finale kind of thing where it lets you know, like, okay, this is where it's going to go, or this is how I'm going to conclude this direction. But it doesn't. It kind of adds another piece of him that he's talking about. So Mirages was the last song. It's pretty much talking about him being upset that he does a lot of these things, false things that he does because of insecurity, and it's very interesting. So he says in some quotes to help you understand what I'm talking about. He says, "Some days I wake up some days I wake up and I wish I was see-through. I wish people can just understand me immediately, you know." And he has this thing where he's like, I run from my problems, afraid of the outcome. I think I wrote that wrong. He's like, he questions every step he makes, and he wishes he didn't. But with that said, he says that the result of all of this means that he shapeshifts his person, so he says, I shapeshift to know you like mirages. But I think what he's saying is that he shapeshifts his whole purpose of who he is, of everything he is for that other person, just so he can get to know that person without expressing himself of who he is physically, and just having, like, this is who I am, that's who you are, we're separate, but we're knowing each other in that direction without me having to alter myself just to get to know you. And I think that she realizes that in the end. He says, you say you saw mirages. And she says that. She's like, everything that you presented to me was not true, was more of a reflection of what I wanted to see out of this. And don't know if she's upset about that or not, but it seems like she is talking about it or bringing it to light. And I think that's very interesting. This is a very interesting and introspective type of album. I did like it. I definitely feel like I liked it better than Sublux. Just because it feels like it has a little more substance. I feel like there's times where he gets a little too poetic, and it's just like, okay, really need you to break that down. If you're going to say that, give me a line that says, this is what that means, you know? So it's hard to kind of break that down in some of the songs, but more into Sublux than this one. I give this album I keep doing this, but these albums are pretty much like that. I give this album an 8 out of 10. Leave a comment below, tell me what you thought. If you've heard of this guy, if you haven't, let me know. If you like this album, if you didn't, let me know that too. And don't forget to like if you like this video, and subscribe and hit the notification bell too, so you get more of my videos. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.